I love this movie that we're going to talk about later in the show. We got to get to the opening.
Yeah.
Tell us a joke, Kablasto.
Oh, man.
You have a joke?
Okay. Yeah, let's see. Hitler jokes.
No! God.
April Fool's.
Leaving this podcast.
We're going to talk about Hitler.
By the way, that's Kevin talking, Kevin Kablasto. This is George.
It's me, George.
No, stop, liar.
New York Best Times seller.
Best time.
Word salad. New York Best Times.
Read all my books about the gods. Buddha and Muhammad.
I feel like,
Oh, jeez.
this is failing.
I think we'll just play the song here.
What's the difference between you and Hitler?
Me or George?
Tim.
Or John. Tim. Me.
Tim.
I don't like to tickle people.
Hitler knew when to kill himself.
Wow.
April Fools. I guess I'm me.
It's ironic because Tim is recording this from his bunker.
That is true.
It's Seti Bimco Part 2, The Revenge. This time, it's April Fool's Day. Check your food for cyanide pills.
Do my thing. Seti Bimco.
Yeah, intro us, Tim.
It's Seti Bimco Part 2, The Revenge. And this week, we got John and George and guest co-host, co-guest for April Fool's Day, Kevin Kablasto from Spaghetti and Freddy with Yoli.
Our first guest host since the new format.
Yes.
That's right. This revolutionary new format. That's totally different than the previous format.
Really, the only difference was that we gave up a guest.
Completely different.
And now we have one, so we're back to pretty much the same.
Instead of two people talking over each other, we've got three people talking over each other.
For today.
And for today, there you go.
So every week we pick a wildcard question.
It's going to be 32.
We're going to talk about this movie, and at the end of the movie, we're going to ask which character is most likely to...
Tim is reaching into a bedpan right now.
most likely to become a motivational speaker from this movie.
Okay.
Right.
There we go.
I actually have something. Can I do mine now? No, I'm kidding. Let's go through the movie first.
I forgot. Who chose this? Was this Tim or you, John?
This was Tim. I picked
movie.
next week's.
Herschel Gordon Lewis. Do you know of him, Kevin? Yeah.
I do.
Before we talk about the movie, you want to plug your podcast, Kevin? And
oh, sure, yeah.
I'll forget later.
Yeah. You should listen to Spaghetti and Freddy.
Why? Why should we listen? Why should we listen to Spaghetti?
Tell us about that.
Is someone holding a cue card for you?
Tim told me to plug it. So you should. It's really Tim is just like. If only we had someone who knew about mythology, but it's that snake eating its own tail.
Should I say what it is?
That's the world egg.
Yeah.
The Ouroboros.
Yes. Ouroboros
the world egg?
is Tim.
You're thinking Fanes. That's something different. P-H-A-N-E-S.
You complete
You
fool. Yes, everyone knows the difference. But yeah, that's Tim because Tim is the only person who ever writes us or leaves.
I'm desperate for attention.
It's really, it's just Tim wanting this constant
Anybody
cycle.
that will say my name on air, I'll write a letter.
We talk about spaghetti westerns and the Nightmare on Elm Street film series and all things Freddy Krueger. And by the time this airs in 6 months, will have gone far past. We're already at the very end of all the Nightmare movies and remakes, so I can't spoil where we're going next.
You can't say?
It could be Freddie Prinze Jr. content. It could be Freddie Sizemore. I don't know.
Muniz?
There's many options. It could be
racing cars all day.
I forgot he switched careers.
That's what he's well known. Nobody
right.
remembers Malcolm in the Middle. They know him as like a hot NASCAR driver.
That's what everyone knows him for. I'm sure that's what John knows him for, and Tim knows him for.
NASCAR?
I lived in North Carolina for how many years? I am aware of NASCAR, yes. That's all I have to say. Because my mother said if you can't say anything nice, don't. It's the old, Jeff Dunham, the ventriloquist. His joke is, look, another left turn. Look, another left turn. Look, another left turn. That's all it is, all Sunday afternoon.
Which of his puppets said that?
The racist one.
That doesn't narrow it down.
I think actually, Jeff, would you be a little more specific? I think actually Jeff Dunham actually said that himself.
Oh.
Maybe.
Then his puppet said something racist.
I was going to say the puppets are not him. They speak for someone else.
I've never seen him to his comedy. Sorry.
Well, podcast is over, everybody. Good yes ending, Tim.
Through cold water on that.
Wait, I thought that was the new format. Talking about Jeff Dunham and Hitler. So
we're not.
Oh yeah. Anyway, listen to my podcast. I forgot I was promoting that.
Ringing endorsement.
It's really Yoli's podcast, and I'm her co-host, but she says we're both in it together.
I think that's because
Tim
says the same thing about ours. I know better.
Yeah,
I know better. I'm like, hey, Tim, how about we? Hey, Tim, how do you think of this idea? No.
I think it's a court of law thing, that you just get the person to agree to it on recording, and you all go down together.
Exactly.
So,
up or down together. But John, nothing with John?
Yeah.
Your gravestone is not clean?
Oh, no, that's going to be... No, it's been snowing this week. I'm hoping that more of it will be off, so... I will let you know how that... However, my mother has come up with another task for me. One of her friends is out visiting her brother out in California, and my mother said she would clean out the cat's litter box while she was away. And then my mother that afternoon proceeds to call me and say, could you please clean out Amy's cat's litter box this week? Because I've got a really weak stomach. And I'm like, then why did you volunteer for it? So, I'm thinking the next thing is well, I told your cousin Nancy I'd donate a kidney. But I was wondering if you could do it instead, because I'm not sure I want to go through with it. It's like, am I going to be the backup for everything forever? I mean... I'm just feeling I'm feeling very taken advantage of. I'm being taken for granted.
You said it's snowing, right?
What?
Yeah, we actually got some pretty good snow, and then it's kind of warmed up. And
take that kitty litter, throw it on the front walk.
What's that, John? George?
Just take the kitty litter, throw it on the front walk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're supposed to use clean kitty litter for that, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, blame it on the local cats. I put down the kitty litter, and then they had a party, I guess.
Tim walked in the bath.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Oh, yeah, of course, filling in.
Yeah.
It's just kitty litter, Kevin. Yeah. You put it in.
No, I was wondering if we should have filled him in this whole bit with the...
Yeah, no. Okay. Why would logically...
Let's talk about the movie.
Let's talk about the movie.
Okay. It's either more Hitler jokes or we're talking about
the movie. Tim, you inflicted this movie on us. How about you do the job of kind of steering this fucking movie's plot?
It. Well, this movie is called She-Devils on Wheels, filmed in Florida back before there were elevators.
Yep, no elevators in the whole movie.
This picture is not for the squeamish. This picture is not for those who think that all women sit by the fireplace knitting socks. The man-eaters, tougher than the men they hate, she-devils on the prowl. For the first time, see them as they are, wild, vicious, with motorcycles as their lovers. She-devils on wheels. Meet queens, gorgeous, desirable, and unobtainable to any man. Meet Whitey, with the strength of a bull and a voice to match.
Oh, go fumigate yourself, craphead.
Another movie by Herschel Gordon Lewis, who made a whole string of nudie cuties or, I don't know, gore
Yes.
We saw one of his other movies just for the hell of it.
Just for the hell of it.
Filmed at the same hotel
for the
rooms.
record,
Yes.
this one was neither.
Yeah,
A little bit of gore, maybe.
Yeah.
Definitely no nudie cuties.
Yeah.
No.
Wait, what was the other movie you watched?
Just for the hell of it.
Okay. I wasn't trying to go
should
into
check
that
it
whole Abbott and Costello routine. But yeah, you're like, we watched another movie of his just for the hell of it. Like, what
What movie
like
did you
I'm
watch?
not
Just for
I'm
the
not-
hell of it. Well, I know why
I'm
you
not falling
watched
for
it,
the-
but what's the
yeah.
name of the movie? Just for the hell of it.
Exactly.
No, I didn't ask you why you watched the movie. What's the name of the movie? Just for the hell of it. This movie was very much in the just for hell of it vein.
Oh, yeah.
Oof.
Okay.
Except
It
this
opens
one
up,
was in color. This one was in color.
Yeah.
And speaking of
Tries
color,
to follow.
Yes.
well, no, just
here comes the racism.
there's a tagline. Tim, I'm
Is this
sorry to
another
interrupt you, but
gif?
I'm going to let you get. I'm going to let you get
Another
into your
Dunham
little
joke.
setup here. But
Let me set the movie up.
It's like the tagline. This was the tagline from the poster for She Devils on Wheels, riding their men as viciously as they ride their motorcycles in blinding color. Was anyone blinded by this movie? I was not blinded by this movie. However, I wish I had been blinded by this movie because I had to watch the whole thing, and that's all I'm
I
going to
kind of
say.
like this movie. I don't get this.
Wait, really?
Okay.
It opens.
You
Listen,
wait.
it opens with Karen. Let's at least set the movie. Karen.
I guess she was
Okay,
the main
go
character,
on.
She
right?
parks on her lawn like everybody in Florida does. She has a very nice car, and she drives to a garage where she stores her motorcycle, and she changes her clothes and comes out, and she's in a motorcycle gang. She's like a supervillain or a superhero, and I don't know where she makes the money. She has a garage, and a car, just
like Batgirl in the Adam West series.
right.
You know, she'd come out in the alleyway on the motorcycle.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, I think that's
about
where
that.
I think that's where they got it from.
Same year.
Same
Oh my
year.
God, this was filmed the same time as that. Like the
It
gulf in quality between those two. And it's not like Batman, the TV series, was like a cinematic masterpiece, but this was such. All right, go on.
And she joins her gang, and it appears their gang go on motorcycle races, and whoever wins get the first choice of this strange house where guys stand around and wait for them. The winner gets first choice of who to sleep with. So
They called it the stud line.
the stud line.
Yep.
I don't know who fed those men or what they did.
I felt bad for the guy with the hat.
Oof.
Yeah, there's one guy
because his hat was awful.
He has this, awful hat. It's like, it's just, I don't know. It's like a weird, like self-made cowboy hat. And like when they all chose, like every single biker lady chose, and no one chose him. And then he had to double team Whitey because she was big and she could take two guys. This movie was terrible.
Yeah, what are your thoughts? But you didn't love it?
I hated this. Like, okay, I've actually seen one of this guy's movies before too. Like, I started watching this. My first note is I'm getting strong Manos Hands of Fate vibes off this.
Yeah.
But it's not Manos Hands of Fate. That was made by a fertilizer salesman. It was like the only film I ever did. That would have been excusable. But he has done an MST3K movie, Monster A Go-Go. This movie was just... But he's done a lot of movies at this point.
Yeah. This is all he made.
This is like his 12th movie.
Yeah.
And he was this bad at it. Like, it had terrible music. There was never the sound quality. They forgot to mic half these actors.
Let me tell you, the music was better than just for the hell of it.
There was no looping. I did notice that. Like, there's no looping. Like, she's just like talking over the motorcycles revving off. If you had actually had a budget, you would have gone back in, had somebody re-record their dialogue over the motorcycle noises so you could actually hear it. No, they didn't do any of that. But I'm guessing George, he probably had. He probably had a loyal audience, and he was probably just playing to that. There's this one audience that would just always come and see his movies, no matter what he made. So that's probably what it was. Florida.
It's still amazing,
though, very popular in Florida.
Well, the Florida thing does explain a lot, but the fact, you said this was better than the other movie you saw, just for the hell of it.
I think so, because the motorcycle shots were at least fun to watch, where they rode by. And...
No, they weren't.
First of all, two things. One, it was not fun. Nothing was fun. Two, these were real motorcycle women because they said it was easier to quote unquote train real bikers to act than it was to train actors to ride a motorcycle.
Nice.
So, not that it was fun, but still.
Why would you use the word fun?
So I watched this movie a week ago in preparation.
Wow, that's ambitious.
I finished recording Spaghetti and Freddy, and then I had some time to kill afterward. And so I watched this movie thinking that, no one else is watching this movie. Tim is purposely making me watch this movie as a joke because it's so bad, and that's the April Fool's joke. And I'm like, okay, everyone else is going to be watching the Meryl Streep Roseanne movie called She Devils from like 1980.
Would have rather watched that.
Definitely. I was hoping that was the real movie. So no, I watched this movie, complete garbage. And then, and I've heard of Herschel Gordon Lewis Can't Lose or whatever, but
Lewis Can't Lose reference, nice.
That's right. And but yeah, I'm like, this is a prank. I took no notes, and I'm like, this is just a stupid joke that Tim is pulling on me. And so
no notes.
Then it came to today. And I'm like, what if it's not a joke? And so I did take.
You watched it again?
I did take some notes. No, I watched parts of it in other people's like synopsis. So I have a few notes, but
don't worry about it.
I'm glad to hear that overall.
All right, I have a question then.
I'm not worried. I'm not worried.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Now. I also thought this was maybe a prank. And,
sure.
Because Tim and John, I'm the new guy. They've been kind of threatening. They've been making these weird remarks like, yeah, we were going to prank you. I'm like, And knowing this is the April 1st one and seeing how this movie was like a low-grade headache. Like, I was just like, this is so fucking just awful that I also stopped taking notes. I have a lot of notes for about the first 15 minutes. And I was like, this is garbage. I'll be honest here, folks. I did a lot of walking away. I put this on. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go feed my cats. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'm going to go do the dishes. I'm going to go out for a night on the town.
Kevin, what's the name of the leader?
I wrote that down. It is Queenie is the leader, but I was mixing up. Is it Blondie?
Whitey. Thank you. Muscle.
Yeah, I was okay. That's a good way.
I like
to put
during
it.
the big fight when she's out of breath and has to lean against the car. It's a great scene.
And then there's Honey Pot. And then there's Karen, and then they name off all the others, and I'm like, screw it, I'm not writing down all their damn names.
They're not characters. There was one called Supergirl. I noticed that.
Yes.
But she did not seem to be from Krypton.
She.
All the sex scenes involved everyone wearing their clothing and just rolling around on the ground.
Is that how you straight people have orgies? That was the most boring orgy scene I have ever seen in my life.
I think they were.
I thought that was leading into the orgy, and then I realized after that scene ended, that was the orgy.
I mean, that first orgy was it was what's her name, Whitey, riding on piggyback on somebody, interspersed with people in underwear, like swallowing each other's face.
Yeah.
I think that was the biker rules,
heavy
maybe.
petting than an orgy, but anyway.
Yeah, this sucked. I hated this movie so much. This movie, I realized I hate the 60s, I think.
I think they were all on LSD, maybe, possibly.
No.
Okay,
that
wait.
would have been more interesting.
Tim.
Yes.
Tim, you like this
movie. I
movie.
enjoyed the terrible.
Defend yourself.
Okay. So I've stupidly listened to your podcast regularly.
Oh my God.
And I see that it's labeled as I always,
this is our next promo. I stupidly have listened to your podcast all this time. And then put that in with George's comment.
Yes.
It's like a low-grade headache. That could be our tagline for Teddy Dimko. Like a low-grade headache. And then have Kevin come in and saying, I have foolishly watched this podcast every episode. Or listen to this podcast. Yeah, that would be perfect.
Yeah.
That's it.
Kevin's.
So yes, the podcast is labeled as comedy, and I'm like, is the humor that Tim is picking the worst, has a list of the worst movies created, and he's just forcing other people to watch
I wonder
them?
about that.
Because yes,
People, I've been the one.
Yeah.
You think it's been a low grade headache for you? I have been the one who has had to show up This is like over a year of my life I will never get back.
That's like, yeah, you have like head trauma from this.
But John's on the ground floor. He's got stock options and everything.
Yeah. You've been treating. To quote the movie, you've been treating John like a slab of meat hanging on a rack at a butcher shop.
Good quoting of a line.
So
I had to get it off the internet because I couldn't understand half the lines.
Yeah.
Can we at least?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to say the movie's good, but it was.
Oh,
it was.
Tim, I'm happy that you enjoyed it.
It was the 60s,
because
and these women are
yes.
like these women are acting as the men stereotypically would in the 60s.
What?
So it was a flip flop.
If you didn't say something, I wouldn't have got that until now. I didn't get that at all.
Very deep. It's very deep, Kevin.
I didn't know men acted like that towards women. I was just appalled the entire
That's
time.
why I hate the 60s.
So, that's
They're
true.
on LSD.
So
No, they weren't. No, I don't think there was any drugs near this set. I think this was a bunch of people who were stone cold sober.
I think there are plenty of drugs on this set.
Actually, now you mentioned some of the extras and stuff made me feel very nervous. I'm skipping way ahead.
Yeah.
But there was the bad guys. Okay, so there's the girl biker gang. There's the guy Joe Boy's biker gang. Which, by the way, Joe Boy's only with the bike. The rest ride around in a car. But there was the one guy in Joe Boy's group. He had like some real strong. What's that actor from Austin? He was
Austin
in Dazed and
Powers?
Confused.
No, Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey. He had very big Matthew McConaughey vibes. He was wearing like a pink shirt.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy that like pushes over like the girl's bike and spits on it, and then he also spits on Honey Pot later.
Yeah.
Like I was a little scared of him. I got the feeling like he was, because I knew these were real people. Like they had trouble controlling that guy. He would be missing from shots. I think because like they're like fighting. They're like, we can't have him pretend to fight these women because like he's a monster.
There was someone standing just off camera with a syringe of Valium. Just in case.
So yes, proof of drugs. I like that idea. Like, they just attack him down the ground and knock him out. Like put him in the trunk until he comes to later. We'll put him in another scene. This movie was terrible. We can't even talk about the plot.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we can. We can tell the plot in like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Less.
Karen falls in love with one of the studs. That's about most of it.
Yes.
No, that's not even the plot. She hooks up with him 4 times. The biggest sin you could do is to be with, like, to have a monogamous relationship.
Yeah.
So the other girls beat him up and make Karen drag him up and down a runway where I guess he dies, but it looks like they just pour beach ice on his head. And he's on his back, and then they show his front, and his front's all bloody. Yeah. And it's like the worst looking blood. It looks like Kool-Aid. And the whole time he's being dragged, he's going, no, oh, no.
It was a dummy. If you lived.
And so then, like, then there's like they're indoctrinating this other girl, Honey Potted, and there's all this garbage, and Queenie just fucking yells a lot, and she has a shrill voice.
She loves all her own jokes.
Yes.
And
rhymes. My God, every time somebody says, they
rhymes.
all fucking laugh.
Yes.
There's a lot of rhymes.
I could not find them. I wanted to look them up.
Whitey's thing sorry, go on.
Oh, no, you're good. You go. I think I wrote down a rhyme.
Oh, cool. Give it.
Yeah. Okay, well, this is from the theme song,
I wrote
but
that
it's still a
on the
rhyme. Okay, yeah. Then ignore that. Hold on. I think, I've got a line that says, this isn't a rhyme one. It's, so what I'm satisfied songs, they don't, as long as they wear pants and they don't, skag skull has. Because everyone starts talking all at once. It's like this damn podcast where it's just people talking over each other and you can't understand what they're saying. So I think somewhere in there I must have a rhyme. But I think the rhyme that I have is from the theme song, which, as we all know, was written by the director. It was the director and his son, and then he used a pseudonym. so it made it seem like a bigger.
Because I'm like,
Yeah.
I wrote down the guy.
Yes.
I'm like, I hate him.
Yeah.
Sheldon Seymour
Yep.
is the words
Yeah,
and music by Robert Lewis.
that was a fake name.
Fucking A.
Yep.
Whoa.
Then Lewis, the other Lewis is his son.
That's.
You passed the test, Kevin.
Wait, hold on.
We didn't know
Okay,
if we
good.
wanted to know if you really did
Yeah.
your research for this movie.
I fucking hate this.
Yep. So you should hate his whole family.
I do.
Basically, is what it comes down
This
to.
fucking movie, the first 5 minutes are basically. I thought it was audio. It's just like it's an image of a spinning bicycle lady,
Every
and
5
then a
minutes.
woman's leg on a bike as they play this fucking song. It just. I have some lyrics since we did some writing.
Yeah, let's hear it.
We are the Hellcats that nobody likes. Which I'm like, yeah, I would agree with that. Bug off or you'll find you have blown your mind. They kept repeating that. Bug off or you find you have blown your mind. And they skate, get off the road. We are the Hellcats that nobody likes. It was... I hated this.
So I've got a lyric you don't
All right,
have.
let's hear it.
We don't owe nobody nothing. We don't make no deals. We're swinging chicks on motors. We're man-eaters on wheels.
Oh, there's a lot of double negatives in there.
Yep.
Let's really
Yeah.
break that sentence down.
Do I have to really
No,
repeat
gosh,
it?
no.
Let's just move on.
I hate everything about this.
Yeah. Tim has something to say about the giant black boob that was on the wall. Did anyone else notice that?
It wasn't black. It was made of metal with a nipple. Is that what you saw?
Okay.
Wait, really?
I saw it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tim, is this the boob that you texted me about? You said you saw
yes.
a boob in this?
Yeah.
Tim tricks me into watching these movies and promises
See?
of nudity, and I don't believe him anymore. I'm like, this movie, no fucking way. 1968, Florida, there's no naked. People didn't know how to take their clothes off back then.
It was a decoration on the wall.
Well,
when all the men get picked and there's the guy with the floppy hat. Yep. You then see it on the wall in the back.
Oh, is he just feeling it when all the other couples are going off? He's just rubbing the big metal boob. Only you understand me, metal boob.
Yeah, I knew the movie was bad, but when she had to kill her lover, I just thought, oh, this is going to be the plot. Queenie is going to fall in love with one of these guys, and the gang's going to be like, okay, Queenie, you got to drag your lover to death. I thought that was going to be the movie, but no.
No. So what is the plot?
After that,
I mean, yes.
Karen has maybe thinks twice about leaving the bike gang because her boyfriend Ted shows up out of nowhere, and he's like,
"Fucking Ted!
I know we broke up, but I just want to know why. Why'd you join up with these bikers?" And
audience members,
she has no reasons.
Wait, picture. I want you all to picture a Ted in your head. Just really think 1968 Florida. Think of a Ted. I guarantee you, this guy is worse than the Ted you pictured.
Well, he's just college. What do you call him? What do you call him?
Prep boy?
Yeah, kind of like prep boy, preppy, very very like the boys from My Three Sons kind of look.
Okay, we all get that reference.
Nerds.
Show Kevin's never heard of. Have you?
What was the show? Growing Pains?
That's it.
Yes, very
Ted,
Kirk Cameron looking. I don't know, man.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah, no. Silver Spoons.
Yeah, Ricky Schroeder. Actually, he does look like Ricky Schroeder.
Yep, Ricky Schroeder.
Actually, he looks a lot like Ricky Schroeder.
There you go.
Do you catch the line he said?
Which one?
Ted goes.
I'll just say no.
Ted goes, "I never understood why you stopped seeing me." And then you look at Ted, you're like, "Ted, I know why she stopped seeing you."
So yeah, Ted warns her that yes.
No.
Tim, am I?
He warns.
Okay, yeah, Tim warns, or not Tim. See, the two of you and Ted are so similar.
Ouch!
I'm mixing you up.
Savage.
Tim just removed his ascot as I said that. Just to, but yeah, so Ted warns that Joe Bob's. Not Joe Bob. Joe Boy.
I like Joe Bob better.
Joe Bob's coming.
Whatever. Yeah,
it's going to make you watch.
It's going to make you watch. What's
Necromantic.
the one that he made? Yes, Necromantic for Valentine's Day. Good God.
Sorry.
I felt bad for everyone that had to sit through that.
We'll get back to
So yeah, Joe Boy's group are coming out to snuff
They're fighting
them out.
over a runway that they ride their bikes on, basically. If you can add some texture to this Shakespearean tragedy.
So logically, what does Ted do next? Is he offers himself at the next Stud Fest as one of the men that can be picked.
Somehow any man can sneak in there. Obviously.
Tim, I blacked out at this point. Not from alcohol, but from watching what I was seeing on screen.
Stupefying.
I want to point out
my
that
brain
plot hole
oozing
that
out.
Any man can walk into this place.
Yes.
Is that a plot hole?
Well, Ted got in there.
Yeah, you
Did
can
they
walk
quiz
in,
him?
but it's like, no, but like, I mean, all you're doing is just hook up with them. And with the knowledge that if you hook up with the same woman more than once, you're probably going to be dragged to death on the local airfield.
Yes.
So it's like you could sneak in, but there's not much of a incentive to do so.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to sleep with Whitey or whatever her name is.
Do you though?
It is Whitey. It is Whitey.
She did
You
a lot
don't
of
get to
rhymes.
sleep with her.
Yeah.
You roll around with her and like on the floor. You kiss her aggressively.
Yeah.
You kind of rub her back, maybe. Yeah, you give her a piggyback ride. She gives you, and you wake up the next morning. It sucks.
I need to look up. Yeah, there's too much rhyme. Well, not enough rhyming. It's like this is a reference that two of you will get. It's like the Demon comic where Etrigan always rhymes.
Yes,
DC
he always
Comics.
rhymes.
Yes.
They're bad.
But apparently bikers rhyme. Like there's the initiation sequence for Honey where they're doing all this stuff, and part of that is there's some bloodletting, and
so the girls can kiss each other.
Exactly, and then part of this is them in their bright biker, not jackets but vests.
It's Florida,
which I do. That's true. So I do like the logo that was on the back of their vests.
Somebody who worked at Disney probably drew it.
Seriously, it was like a pink cat with a black bow tie. So anyway, but yeah, part of that is them taunting her with rhymes, and then they're like, "You've been initiated." It's like
now go have sex with every guy in the stud thing.
Yeah,
and they just jump on it, and she's excited by it.
John used to taunt people with rhymes.
I did. There once was a man from Nantucket.
Oh,
they have a rhyme like that in the movie.
You don't hear it, right? You
hear it over the mic. You can't hear it over the motorcycle because nobody bothered looping after in post production.
Yeah.
So,
what the hell is the name of this movie again? I'm going to look up one of the rhymes.
So they beat up Honey Pot.
I had a hard time remembering it too.
I don't know if they kill Honey Pot.
Yeah,
she's the new member, and the guys come over.
No, they say you hear it. You hear Whitey say she's hurt real bad, and they say you'll need to get a doctor.
Yeah, so we don't know what happened to her.
We skipped though. We skipped the whole. They get in a fight with the guy gang.
Oh yeah,
the guys sneak over and steal Honey Pot.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
I think she has to go outside.
The next morning, they take her. Yeah, they throw her. She's wrapped up in a blue blanket. Mm-hmm. The guy that I said it's kind of scary spits on her because he's just got a problem. And then Queenie runs outside, sees Honey Pot, unwraps her. She's covered with beet juice.
Yes.
And they take her to the hospital. And then they go to the bar where Rick the bartender works. And there's like a few extras in the background who were clearly just having a drink midday and didn't know this was being filmed.
Right.
And they're beating him, brutalizing him because that's where they expected to find the good guy. I mean, the bad guy bikers. And he keeps saying, I don't know. And I felt really bad for him.
Please keep going.
And he's like, they're not there. They go.
Just run that. Please run that on loop.
I'm actually introducing him for later. I wanted to make sure the I know no guy is there for storytelling purposes.
Okay. Establish this character that people will adore.
Yeah, he's kind of like he had like he was the only member of the entire movie who had like the ability to move parts of his face. I feel like they all just had kind of blank masks, like they were just. And this guy, he acted. I felt bad for Rick. He gets mangled. I guess I don't know. Oh, then they find out where we're like, we'll cut to the chase.
Oh. I just found out this movie was shot in 2 weeks.
That explains a lot.
That long?
I'm looking for a rhyme. So also, okay, I need to bring this up because this is all on Tim. So this movie's, I love how I just now I'm like, hey, what's the name of this movie? And Tim goes, She Devils. There are like 16 movies named She Devils. There's She Devils of the SS. There's She Devils, the 80s one. There's this movie is She Devils on Wheels from 1968. It is so hard to find this movie when Tim just goes, the movie we're watching is going to be called She Devils.
Send you the
and
link.
then you're like,
And I said 1960.
oh, he did it. He did eventually. But I was like, 40 minutes into 6 other movies, and then I finally got the right one. And then I wish I had
Kevin.
You got
all my work.
You got
all that work.
Did you all catch I'm going back a little bit. Did you all catch like the one kind of shockingly dirty and funny cut in this movie?
Probably not.
So after they get in the fight with the guys at the first fight at the airfield, they literally
unless that was a pun.
Oh.
When you say cut.
Oh, well, there's that later, yes.
Okay.
But at this point, they do cut them, too. They rip out most of their eyes, it seems. There's guys screaming, my eyes. They're showing the shots of them on the floor with, like, bloody eyes. And they're all laying there on the floor. The girls have utterly defeated these men. And Queenie goes, all right, girls, cut loose on them. And there's a shot they're all staying on these guys laying on the floor, and they all start unbuckling their pants. Holy shit, they're going to piss on their faces. And just as they start dropping trow, it cuts very abruptly to a shower.
Yeah.
Shower. Yeah.
And then Karen gets out. And it was like, oh my gosh, that was...
Sounds like a compliment.
It kind of almost was. I was shocked, given how tame this movie was, despite eyes being torn out, that they went that level. Like, yeah, these women are pissing on their foes. But then I was also shocked they showed it that way. Like, that they, like... That the guy had enough sophistication as a director to cut to, like, when a person pees, water comes out. Know where else water comes out of? Showers. So at the end of the movie, after they beat up Honeypot, the bad guys, the girls who are heroes, after they beat up Nick, the bartender, they stretch a wire across the road. And they get Joe Boy to chase them on his motorcycle, and they're letting the road go on. Come on, they're like, you can't get us. And in the hilarious bit of clipping I've ever seen, he gets decapitated, and his head is replaced by a paper mache, tempera paint filled thing that they throw through the air. And and then they get arrested at the end.
It was a quick jump, but that's basically all that happens.
It really is,
After his head gets cut off, I think Queenie goes over and uses his belt and hits his dead body in the crotch, and then she leaves she leaves the belt, and then the cops are like, "Hey, Queenie, we know your belt. We finally caught you." But and I know George did because he loves it. I'm sure you all sat through the credits to see that this was the first movie with a post-credits scene.
Well,
it was.
I read that, but I didn't sit through. I turned it off and pretended. I'm like, I don't want to see.
George, Nick Fury was there.
Yep.
Or the Avengers mission. I don't even remember. Does Karen go off with the boyfriend? No, she stays in the gang.
No, she doesn't.
Right?
Yeah, she picks a group.
She climbs back in the window and pretends to say goodbye to him at one point because he obviously couldn't be there.
Wait, really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she climbs in the window, and out the window she goes, Bill, see, you were wrong. They're not coming to attack us. I'm staying.
And there's no Bill.
Ted. It was Ted. But he wasn't out
Bill
there.
And Ted. Nice.
Bill,
you could tell.
Oh, wow, yeah. No, Bill was the one who got dragged along that we assume he's... Yeah.
Yeah.
He's Hamburger Bill. So now it's revenge time.
Wherever you are, wherever you're hiding, I'll find you. I'll get you.
Revenge.
Revenge.
Revenge. One of us will die. One of us will die.
I will not let Cindy take my place.
I will have my revenge.
So we'll get to the wild card question then. So George has another podcast to be on. He's so special.
That's right. I'm fancy.
Oh, man.
So that question was, who from this movie would most likely, what was it? Who remembers it?
Most likely to become a motivational speaker.
Ooh, okay. Who wants to go first?
Senior Kabumo, you're the guest. I say you go first.
Kabumo?
To prove. That's right. Prove you watched this movie.
Okay. I watched the movie. I totally forgot about the prompt. I was focused on the revenge. Let's see. I will pick motivational speaker. How about Whitey? She
got the best one.
I'm gonna just totally drop the ball here. She wait. That's all. You just asked.
You asked just Whitey.
She goes to Disney, right? She goes to Disney. She's motivational. She dresses up as Goofy, but she just does those rhymes to people.
Say that's yours now.
It's good. Well, that's fine. All you asked is who. You asked me who. You didn't say ask why.
Oh, why?
So,
why?
Oh, okay. I don't know. Why not? Whitey ends up losing 400 pounds, and then
that's impressive.
Yes. So she's in the negatives, and yeah, I don't know. I listen. I put all my focus into the revenge side of things.
All right.
But I want to know where. Yeah, George.
Where am I going? George.
I'm gonna go. I do this whole thing by the seat of my pants, right?
Do it.
I'm actually screwing myself over by revenge thing. So the person who goes in becoming a motivational speaker, nobody escapes this movie unscathed. The only person who comes close is Rick the bartender. Now, Rick the bartender does get brutalized by the female gang, but he comes through the other end, and he realizes, why am I bartending in this dead-end town? Why am I just wasting my time here where these women beat me up and maybe make me bleed in some way? I don't know. And he goes, what is the answer? What is the answer? He says this in front of groups of people. And the answer he supplies them, I don't know. I don't know. And he motivates people with his inability to understand. They learn to embrace it. They're like, yeah, we don't know. And his wave of just ignorance sweeps over all of Florida. And that's why it is the state it is today. Because of Rick, the motivational speaker. I don't know.
He motivates Floridians.
Tim, I'm changing my answer.
Oh, jeez.
So,
you can't do that.
Yeah, well, it's my world. I'm taking over. Whoever set up the wire that cut off Joe Boy's head. Whoever set that wire
we can call
up.
him Joe Bob if we want to.
They're the person who should become a motivational speaker because they know how to get ahead. There you go.
Nobody else knows how to give head in this movie, clearly.
Okay, there you go. There's my answer. Tim?
Well, Whitey goes to Disneyland. Yeah, Whitey goes to Disneyland. She
Tim did go.
Dresses up as Goofy, and she helps out all the guys at Disneyland and says things like, ain't nothing wrong with the bologna sandwich as long as you got some mayonnaise. And those things that she was saying in the movie.
That doesn't rhyme.
She said that. That's what she said.
She did?
There's a lot of talk about bologna. Yeah. It was weird. Bologna came up surprisingly a lot in this movie.
And then she gets fired, but then she becomes a motivational speaker at a golf course. And she helps a young Donald Trump become what he is today.
Oh, no.
The end.
The end. All right, John, what's yours?
John, what do you got?
Well, my motivational speaker would be Karen's mother. She's in the brief scene at the beginning.
Okay.
Karen's mother. In the brief scene in the beginning when she leaves the house and goes out to the car. But if you look at Karen's mother, who does she look more like? She doesn't look like Karen. She looks like Whitey. So what happened was that Karen and Whitey were born in the hospital on the same day. Karen's mother is not her biological mother. She's actually Whitey's biological mother. But she took a look at that baby and said, nah, I don't know. This isn't a very attractive baby. So she saw the baby next to her baby, which was Karen. And she, what a pretty child. So she switched the name tags. And then, of course, karma being what it is, her biological daughter lures her adopted daughter into this motorcycle gang. And so her motivational speech is, about penance and how she did a wrong thing and how in the end she wound up paying for it.
Oh,
That's heartwarming.
yeah. That
makes me, John.
I don't know.
I'm going to accept that as canon. That makes me like this movie more.
It really makes you think.
April Fool's on us.
Yeah, it gives
He's
everybody
being
motivations. Yeah.
Oh, you know what I realized? We didn't talk about the after credits scene.
Yeah, they're loose. They're free. I'm going to talk about it in my revenge story.
Okay, cool.
Tim.
Hey, we'll let
that's a good segue. What is the revenge?
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go first.
Yeah, the three of us will talk for 10 minutes each.
Maybe. So my sequel.
No, Tim is going to give his, and then we'll each get 2 minutes. Okay, all right, if you say so.
She Devils on Wheels: The Revenge, my sequel. So as we saw at the end of the movie, Whitey and Queen and the rest of them got out of prison. I don't know if they murdered all the police or they just got let go. They go back to terrorizing Medley, Florida, and our sequel picks up in 1972.
Ooh, better. Past the threshold.
Yeah. As we know, things show up in Florida.
Which is the year Disney opened. Are we going back to Disney? I think we're going back to Disney.
Wow. There might have been an elevator in there, but in Florida, in Disney. Anyway, as you know, things come late to Florida. For example, it wasn't until 1980 that Florida learned about the lava lamp craze. Thus, in 1972, Whitey, the muscle of the gang, she's just discovering Beatlemania. She's in love with the Beatles, but mostly Ringo, as she likes a guy who can beat on things. And here's what we didn't see in the movie. Whitey had a guy locked in her house. His name was Kevin Kablasto. He was known as the rhyme guy. He was tied up in her house, and he was the one that wrote all those rhymes, those terrible rhymes for her. He was kind of like Reek from Game of Thrones, if you remember Game of Thrones.
Question: did he have genitals?
I was going to say like James Caan in Misery. Like he was held against his will and had to keep writing all these rhymes. And if he didn't rhyme, she'd like break his ankles, cut off fingers.
Exactly. All
that. If there's no rhyme, Whitey would have sex.
Right.
And then, so to answer the question, genitals were just ground into fine white powder.
Right, they were.
That's why they call her Whitey.
That's right. Yeah.
So she loved Ringo. Whitey had him write a poem about Ringo. That's how it went. There once was a Beatle who was a drummer. In the bathtub is where he needed a plumber. But when he had sex, he got help from latex because he liked to stop sperm with a rubber. So
that's good.
See, that's not. Kevin Kablasto wrote that.
Well, yeah, that's why it's good.
Worthy of Etrigan.
So he wrote all these poems, and she tossed him some food, and she'd leave him there all day. And Whitey became so obsessed with the Beatles, she planned a big trip for the whole gang to go see them on their next tour. And she had Kablasto write a poem about this too. Trying to get through this. There once was a band on a magical tour. It was the opposite of smelling a stinky sewer. Whitey won the race and sat on Ringo's face, and he was heard to say, "I never really knew her." So there.
Wait. Okay, continue. Nothing. I was. Yes, keep going.
But change was coming to Florida. A new invention. The work of the devil was coming. It was called an elevator. And they wanted to try out these elevators on that big runway they're having their races on. The company, the elevator, called Elevator Incorporated, hired a gang of guys. They were called the Lady Eaters. And they were meant to take out the man-eater. And meanwhile, back at Kevin Kablasto's man cave, he'd gotten a hold of a newspaper from up north with a big headline from a few years ago about how the Beatles had broken up. And he figured out how he was going to get his revenge on Whitey. The night before, they were going to go have their big rumble with the guy gang hired by the elevator company. Kablasto showed her the headline that the Beatles had broken up. They were no more. And Whitey collapsed and cried in a heap, psychologically damaged beyond repair. And he wrote a poem for her about this moment. This is how it went. There once was a band called the Beatles, but now young people are listening to the Eagles. Yoko is to blame, and John helped Bowie write Fame, and eventually people will listen to a flock of seagulls. So...
I like that you rhyme Beatles with Eagles.
She rode down the highway into the sunset, never to be seen again. And her gang lost the gang war without her. The end. And Kevin escaped.
Wow.
Kevin escaped. He chewed through his ropes. And he got to a hospital in Florida, an ER in Florida, where he died of his injuries because healthcare is terrible down there.
All this happened before Kevin was actually born. So it's some sort of weird Mobius.
This is just
loop
Kevin in that universe.
It's alternate universe Kevin.
Yeah.
And now, unfortunately, there's no time for any of us to do our revenge stories. So, Tim, where can they send? Tim, where can they send an email?
April Fools, no time for your stories.
I kind of feel like that's the best ending for this.
No,
I think so too.
John and Kevin worked on theirs. I know George didn't. Go, John. Go, John. Go.
Oh, you think I worked on mine? Okay.
I was writing mine as Tim was talking, and then I heard my name, and I had to pay attention. It's like being in class.
This is my revenge story. So, once upon a time, there was a guy who did a podcast, and his name was John. And he did this podcast with two other guys. And the other two guys really didn't like John because he was the funniest, he was the most talented, he was the prettiest. And so on April Fool's... excuse me, sir, I am telling my revenge story now. Please stop interrupting me. So as an April Fool's prank, they make him watch this movie called She-Devils on Wheels, and John is livid. So he takes his revenge. He hunts down the cast of She-Devils on Wheels, and he finds the actress who played Queen, and she's in a nursing home, and he takes this metal belt and he just beats her to death. And then he hunts down the actress who played Whitey. Oh, she wants to lose 50 pounds. I'll show you how you lose 50 pounds. He rigs her electric wheelchair, and he sets up this piano wire and chops off her head. That's how you lose 50 ugly pounds right there, Whitey. And then
what a giant head she had.
He finds the grave of Herschel Gordon Lewis, the creator of this fiasco, digs up the coffin, opens it up, urinates on the corpse, closes the lid back up, buries it. The end. Wow.
Question: did he actually urinate on him, or did it cut away quickly to a shower shot?
No. Yeah. This is 2023. We showed the whole golden shower.
Wow,
nice.
The stunt penis.
Nah.
The stunt cock.
That's good.
You broke the fourth wall. I like that. Not broke the fourth wall. You got meta. Is that more correct?
I don't know. Why are you shilling for Facebook, Tim?
We should let George go just in case.
Yeah, George, definitely go.
We're on a
How
time
are we going
limit.
for time? No, I'm going to go last.
Jesus.
You're going to hang around for this?
Okay. Go, Kevin.
Wait, is yours long? Kevin Kabumo?
No.
Not good.
No, George O'Connelly. So go to your library and ask for books by George O'Connelly.
No, don't do that. Don't get my books.
See, I'm getting my revenge. Okay, so I hastily wrote this and rewrote it while Tim was talking.
Wow.
Because I was so focused on the
you thought it was a prank.
The motivational speaker thing. Yeah. So Bill, the guy that Karen drags around, he does not die.
No.
But instead he guts Whitey like a tauntaun and wears her skin. And then some time has passed and Queenie has started a successful motorcycle company, which is biggest motorcycle company in the world. So dresses, wearing Whitey's skin suit, he seduces Queenie because Queenie had mentioned earlier that you could have a stud. Let's see, I'm looking for the line here. You could have a stud. Yeah, a stud, a buck, or you'll really join the club and pick a filly. And so, here we go. So Whitey picked a filly, gets married to Queenie. But unfortunately, Queenie's been smoking all these years. So about 40 years later, gets lung cancer and has to retire. Unfortunately, the cancer spreads from her lungs to her brain. and she passes away in the hospital with her only loved one, Bill / Whitey. And then Bill then inherits her fortune and gets his revenge.
Wow.
Yep. But
Wow.
also in doing so, yes. Well, let me say my last line.
I'm glad you're making this a comedy podcast now.
Yeah, well,
the humor.
Yeah, well, but then Bill.
This is hilarious.
Hold on. There's more. But then Bill, who had inherited the fortune and got his revenge, realized that he had fallen in love with Queenie after all those years, and he himself dies heartbroken. And what's the moral of the story?
Okay. What is it? I know it's going to be good.
It's you shouldn't set your life on revenge. And you shouldn't focus your entire season 2 on revenge.
It was going to be.
We'll see how long season 2 lasts.
I thought it was going to be.
Well, yeah, that was
related.
The final episode. There we go.
I got mine,
Go ahead,
and I got 10 minutes, so I could do this.
You can do it.
All right. I'm glad I waited to the end because I was very worried somebody else would take one of my characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually doing Ted.
Ah.
Ted is the kind of like the boyfriend, the one who's like, I don't know why you stopped seeing me. And Ted sucks. He wears like just a red sweater. He's annoyingly blonde. He's very bland. Like he's definitely vanilla flavored. He just sucks. His favorite color is like off-white. He just sucks.
Beige.
And he surrounds himself with these exciting people. Like beige, exactly. Yes, better. He's surrounded like his ex-girlfriend's in a biker gang. His brother's in a biker gang. He goes and hangs out with those studs, but it's never been his thing. He just kind of he just drifts away from this wild scene and follows the call of his sweater. And he just goes to a nice community college, meets a girl. They have 2.5 kids and a chihuahua. Buy a house in the burgeoning Floridian suburbs. It's a little bit of drama, like in his 50s where he has high blood pressure, but he takes the medicine for it and he gets better. His kids eventually have grandkids. Honestly, they kind of underperform, but they're nice enough. And they all live pretty close by, so the family just is always together for all the family get-togethers. When he's about 80, he steps into his garden one day, feels a faint flutter in his chest, just lays down simply and dies happy and content.
Is he chasing his grandchild around?
No, he just was just smelling the roses, man. And his revenge was that motherfucker lived well.
Wow.
Living well is the best revenge.
Wow. I like how everybody's like, I was very profound. I was very cool, and the rest of you were just making jokes. I like the variety.
Yep. Wait, you're saying your fucking thing was profound?
Yeah, Tim is. Oh my god.
This is why the podcast ends.
Yeah.
All right.
Remember who has final edit. So this is going to all be shifted.
Yes.
So Tim wins.
Sounds like
Tim
Kevin's
tricked you
talking
into
about Hitler the whole night.
Don't ever say it because Tim will just put it on loop.
I know.
Okay.
What did Hitler say when he was blindfolded?
Don't tickle. Do not tickle me. Do not tickle the Fuhrer.
I cannot see.
Oh, jeez. John, tell us what we're going to watch next week, because George is a fancy man who has to go to another podcast.
I know.
Okay.
Podcast, George.
Yeah, it's all right.
I have picked the 1976 television movie. I don't know if it's an authorized sequel or an unauthorized sequel. But it's Look What's Happened to Rosemary's Baby. And this has everything in it in the SETIverse. It's got terrible reviews. So it's got everything from the SETIverse. We just did Dr. Cook's Garden a couple weeks ago, based on a play by Ira Levin. This is based on a work by Ira Levin. It stars Patty Duke, then Patty Duke Ashton, because she was married to Gomez at the time, who is, let's face it, in the SETI BIMCO Hall of Fame. It has Academy Award winners Broderick Crawford and Ray Miland, who were both in Mayhem at 40,000 feet. It's got everything. So we're going to just tie everything together in the SETIverse. It is on YouTube. I will send you the link.
And that will be the last episode.
April Fools, this is the last episode. John just described a beautiful chimera of a movie that doesn't exist.
Probably.
That's right.
We'll look for it all week. Well, Kevin, thanks
That's
for being
right.
here. I think.
Thanks,
Not really,
Kevin,
but-
and thanks for ending our podcast. Thanks for ending our podcast.
Yeah, that's what I do. So.
Yeah, thanks for coming on in our new format where we don't have guests and being a guest.
This was a whole April Fool's plot.
Just try to use your toilet, John. You'll see what happens.
You remember, hear what happens when I go visit people's toilets? I visited your toilet. That's all I need to say.
There's no good to come out of that situation.
No.
But give us 5 stars. Listen to us. Write us emails at SETIBIMCO with the E at gmail.com. We're on Instagram, SETI_BIMCO, or at Mastodon, which is much better than Twitter. And listen, review. We didn't get any letters. I looked earlier. Did we get a text?
Yeah.
Mail,
well,
George?
there's a shock. There's a shock.
Goodbye, everybody. Are we done? Do you want to say anything else? Kevin?
I think I've said all. I think I said all I have to say.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Go listen to Spaghetti and Freddy.
Go listen to Hypothetical Island.
Go listen to Steady Bimco. Visit John's Island.
I need a drink.
You need a drink.
This has been a Pity Party Line production.
Party line, it's a party line.
I didn't watch anything. This movie was awful.
Bug spray. They sprayed bug spray in the cop's face. Was it the cop or the guy?
No, it was Joe Boyce.
Listen, are we even recording? Because
we are.
Okay, good.
Right now we are?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Because they said go fumigate yourself, crap head, when they sprayed the bug spray. So
crap head.
Yeah. They danced around not swearing in this movie and had a lot of odd lines.
I think he just wanted to make money.
Yeah.
He wanted to get
and also Queenie would say the bedtime boogaloo a lot for.
Was that for sex?
Yes. See, you cracked the code.
Thank you. That was good. That was great. Thank you.